Yeah, I found this. I was cleaning out some drawers and stuff. My mother gave it to me years ago, and I was wanting to find out how much it was worth.
This thing looks crazy. What is it?
It's a Black Widow.
The Fabergé spider that nearly gave Rick a heart attack. Sometimes treasure hides in plain sight. That's exactly what happens when a woman casually walks into the shop holding what looks like a weird piece of costume jewelry, an old spider-shaped brooch covered in sparkly stones. She found it while cleaning out her drawers. No big deal. Just something her grandmother gave her a while back. She doesn't like spiders anyway, so she figures, why not see if it's worth anything? Rick takes one look and freezes.
Just a spider brooch. It's got a lot of crystals and stuff on it. I don't like spiders, so I just wanted to get rid of it.
Do you know what you have here?
No, not at all.
At first glance, it just looks like some flashy Halloween pin, but something about the way it catches the light, the craftsmanship, the detail. It's too perfect. Rick leans in, and the more he examines it, the more stunned he becomes. This isn't some cheap trinket. This is Fabergé. The name alone sends a jolt through any serious collector's spine.
This guy became famous for his Fabergé eggs, but he actually made everything from silverware to necklaces to rings. And just about anything he touched is considered a masterpiece.
Fabergé isn't just a jewelry brand, it's royalty, literal royalty. Peter Carl Fabergé designed pieces for Russian emperors. His creations are found in museums, not junk drawers. And here sits a Fabergé brooch, disguised as a creepy spider, just chilling in the palm of a woman who has no clue what she's holding. Rick flips the piece, inspecting every inch. It's Imperial Russian jewelry, likely made before the revolution. Rick knows what this is, and he knows it doesn't just walk into a pawn shop every day.
Somewhere. This is the one thing everyone hopes they'll stumble across when they're going through grandma's stuff. What did you want to do with it?
I want to get rid of it.
And how much were you looking to get out of it?
Couple thousand?
When the woman says she's hoping for a couple thousand, Rick almost loses it. $2,000? This thing could be museum-worthy. But Rick, being Rick, doesn't go in for the kill. He doesn't laugh in her face or rip her off. He tells her the truth, and he tells her straight up he can't, in good conscience, lowball her. That's not how he does business.
I would really like to give you like $2,000 for it, but unfortunately I have a conscience.
Then he drops the bomb, just like that. The woman is floored. She never imagined something so ugly to her could be worth that kind of money. But instead of grabbing the cash and running, she tries to push her luck. She wants 17. Rick says no. She tries 16. Still no. Then 15.5. Rick groans. This is the price of having a conscience. He could have taken advantage and walked away a hero in his own head. 15,000 is more than fair.
How about 17? A man that's willing to pay 15 will definitely pay 17
No,
for
he
that.
won't. I mean,
All right,
literally.
how about 16?
I will give you 15. That's more than a fair offer on this.
How about 15.5?
Eventually, she agrees. Rick hands her the money, but he's still reeling. He knows he just bought something incredible, and she walks away stunned, holding a check she never expected. It's the kind of moment that reminds everyone why Pawn Stars is more than just haggling and history. It's about the thrill of discovery and the fine line between junk and jackpot. The war jacket that blindsides Chumlee.
So I am trying to sell this leather biker jacket. I'm thinking it's from either World War I or World War II. I just don't really know much about it.
Is your Harley parked out front?
Oh yeah.
Chumlee has seen his fair share of strange artifacts walk through the doors of the gold and silver pawn shop, but today, something different catches his eye. A vintage leather jacket, old, worn, and mysterious. The kind of piece that could be anything from worthless junk to a war relic worth a small fortune. The seller swears it's from either World War I or World War II, but can't say for sure. That kind of uncertainty is already a red flag, but Chumlee's intrigued enough to give it a closer look.
$1,000 for this jacket, especially since vintage clothing is coming back and the jacket is in such good condition. If I make the sale today, I'll probably save some of the money, give some of it to my dad, and maybe buy him a new record player.
The jacket's got character. The leather's aged just right, scuffed in a way only real use can cause. The front reads Mac, maybe a name or nickname, and it's plastered with military patches. There's a fierce eagle from the Airborne Division, the words Allied Airborne, and on the back, an ominous phrase painted in bold white, the battered bastards of Bastogne. The reference is unmistakable. It points straight to one of the bloodiest and most heroic standoffs in American military history, the Battle of the Bulge.
Showing some good aid that leather would show as well. Got the word Mac on the front, which maybe was a name. It has the airborne patch on it with the eagle right there. Then the other patch over here.
At first glance, it seems authentic, but Chumlee knows better than to take anything at face value. Something about the jacket doesn't sit right with him. The cut is European, not American, and the leather falls short of what he'd expect from a standard US military issue. He doesn't say it out loud, but deep down, Chumlee knows this could go either way. Massive payday or epic flop. And when there's this much uncertainty, he calls in backup.
Jacket, it cut more in the style of a Europe jacket. An American jacket would have come down more, kind of more flat. This is more typical of a European cut.
The expert arrives, and suddenly, the energy in the shop shifts. This isn't just a cool old jacket anymore. This is history. Real, bloody, bullet-riddled history. The patches are from the legendary 101st Airborne Division, the same group that jumped into Normandy and held their ground at Bastogne in freezing winter, outnumbered and outgunned. The battered bastard's name isn't decoration. It's a battle cry carved into American legend. The story pours out like a real war film, and Chumlee listens intently.
There's a bunch going on with this jacket. The battered bastards of Bastogne, that's referencing the Battle of the Bulge. The 326th jumped at Normandy, and the Eagle is of the 101st Airborne Division. If you're gonna have something from World War II,
but here's the twist. The jacket itself is German, a Luftwaffe pilot's jacket, complete with the crop design and cut that confirms its European origin. According to the expert, what likely happened is that an American soldier captured it during the war and later turned it into a personal trophy, painting over it, adding his own patches, and transforming it into a commemorative piece. That explains the mashup. That's when Chumlee realizes this isn't just military memorabilia. It's one of a kind, a Frankenstein of war, sewn from victory and survival.
pilot would have had this. It's got that high crop. The way this would have come about is an American soldier would have captured.
Then comes the punch to the gut. The expert confirms the paint's aging is authentic, and the jacket could fetch up to $12,000 in the right market. Chumlee's eyes widen. This went from maybe fake to museum-worthy real in under 10 minutes. But instead of getting greedy, Chumlee plays it cool. The seller wants $1,000, but now that the real value's out, she tries to push for more. Chumlee doesn't bite. He's blunt. This piece is great, but niche. Finding a buyer who'll cough up 5 figures takes time, connections, and patience. Right now, Chumlee's not in the mood to chase ghosts.
Surprised to see this thing sell at $12,000.
Wow.
All right, well, thanks for coming down.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Yep, see you, chump.
All right, I'll give you $1,000 for it.
So he lets it go. No deal. No money was exchanged. The seller walks out holding a potential $12,000 treasure, and Chumlee stands behind the counter, watching her leave. Moments like this, when the gamble flips on its head, always leave a mark. The $6,000 casino chip that sent the old man into a tailspin.
I got a 1950s Las Vegas Club $5 chip.
Yeah, I'll give you $5 for it.
You mind how to look at it, Chumlee?
$5.
No.
Some items stroll into the shop with a quiet charm. Others crash through the door wrapped in big claims and bigger price tags. This one does the latter. A man walks in with a poker chip, just one. A $5 chip from the Las Vegas Club, dated back to the 1950s. Small, worn, and holding a price tag that punches like a heavyweight. He says it's rare, like 8 in the world rare, and wants $6,000 for it. $6,000 for a chip.
There's only 8 of them in the world, and I got one of them. I paid a lot for this chip, but I'm trying to collect chips.
The old man's interest is piqued, but not for the reasons the seller hopes. The Las Vegas Club is a name the old man knows well. It is one of the oldest casinos in town and a real piece of old Vegas history. Back in the day, $5 on the table was enough to earn you high roller status, and this chip might have seen some big names. Guys like Benny Binion, legendary gamblers, maybe even mob-connected players. There's a history here, and that's what makes it interesting. But still, $6,000?
Binions, the Stupak, they were high rollers, and there's a good possibility they played with this chip. This is one of the rarest chips available. I'd say one of the top 20.
The old man takes a closer look. The chip is in good condition, better than most that survived the smoky tables of the 50s. The seller says the sticker at the center hasn't been re-glued, which makes it cleaner, more original, maybe more valuable, maybe. But the old man doesn't deal in maybes. He wants cold, hard evidence.
From what I understand, back a long time ago, the casino re-glued the center sticker on half of them.
What follows is a classic Pawn Stars standoff. The seller is confident, borderline cocky, and pitches the chip as one of the top 20 rarest in circulation. The old man counters with cold realism. Chips are collectible, sure, but they're not ancient coins or luxury watches. They don't always move fast, and the market's a niche one.
Plus those 3 statues right here, Frank, Sammy, and Dean.
We're trying to sell these statues for $600, but I only paid $100 for them.
The old man weighs the offer, more amused than anything else. He knows the game. He's played it longer and sharper than most. Eventually, he agreed to $3,000 cash and the statues. He knows he's getting a steal, and the story, the gamble, the spectacle of it all make it worth the shot. As the seller leaves grinning, the old man almost smiles. Only in Vegas would someone try to trade a chip and a few crooner statues for $6 grand and expect to win. It's not the wildest thing he's seen, but it's up there.
So what do we got here?
There's something in here you're really gonna like to see.
Okay.
1963, American-made Fender Stratocaster.
Oh, to me, this is the guitar.
But there's something very, very special about this specific guitar.
The Jimi Hendrix guitar that slipped through Rick's fingers. The moment the guitar case opens, the energy in the shop shifts. What's inside isn't just another vintage Stratocaster. It's a 1963 Fender that the seller claims was once played by none other than Jimi Hendrix. Instantly, the room feels heavier. This isn't your regular memorabilia. It's potentially a relic from one of music's most electrifying legends. Rick knows what this could mean. If real, this is the kind of guitar that makes headlines. It makes history.
Jimi Hendrix, he was an icon. This guy did things with the guitar that no one did before. He played a Strat.
Yeah.
Left-hand guitars are far and few between. His first guitars were used. He couldn't find a left one. So he started playing with a right-handed guitar with the strings upside down.
The story is bold. The seller says Hendrix used this very guitar in studio sessions for Band of Gypsies and other tracks. He adds that it was given to a studio engineer at Jimmy's favorite New York recording spot. Now, years later, it's in his hands, with paperwork, an article, and even a letter from Hendrix's brother to back it all up. Rick listens carefully, but doesn't get swept up in the mythology. He's heard plenty of tall tales before, and when 7 figures are on the line, proof matters more than passion.
He actually held this guitar that you now have in your hands and made wonderful music with it.
Is there any pictures of him playing it on stage or anything? Or
No, because it was exclusively played in the studio. This was his really favorite sort of recording act.
Let's set this down. And where did you get this?
It was actually owned by a guy named Skip Jarrett.
The seller throws out a price of nearly $1 million. Rick doesn't even flinch. He calls in a guitar expert immediately. If this guitar is what it's claimed to be, Rick wants every inch examined. From the worn-down paint on the neck to the straightened tremolo bar, details that only make sense if Hendrix, a left-handed player who famously strung right-handed guitars upside down, actually played it. And then comes the serial number. It checks out. The guitar's been documented. The expert confirms it. This Strat belonged to Jimi Hendrix.
No doubt, this is definitely one of Jimmy's guitars.
That's really, really cool. In my head, I think I know what it's worth, but what do you think?
No guitar is worth anything unless everything's working on it, in my book.
Plug it in, let it rip,
Let's
just
do
turn it
this.
up loud.
That should be the moment Rick gets excited, but he doesn't. Because now comes the real battle, price. Rick respects the guitar's history and even falls in love with it a little. But falling in love doesn't mean overpaying. He starts at about half the price. It's cash, on the spot, with no auction headaches and no long waits. But the seller holds firm, pushing back hard with the same number he started with, $750,000.
At a personal level, I absolutely love it, but you have to find the right auction. It has to be advertised, and the least amount of time would be a year, most likely.
Right.
Rick raises it to $500,000, then even more. Still, the seller won't budge. He's aiming for $1 million at auction, and he's not leaving a dime on the table. But Rick knows the risk. Auctions are a gamble, with big rewards, but bigger uncertainties. He throws out one last offer. That's as high as he's willing to go. But even that isn't enough. In the end, Rick walks away. He doesn't like letting legends slip through his fingers, but he likes overpaying even less. The guitar might fetch more at auction, or it might not. That's the thing with items like this. Priceless in sentiment, volatile in value.
What do you got here?
I've got some of these bills from the 19th century.
Do you know anything about them?
I really don't.
The $7,500 gamble that nearly blew up in Rick's face. Some people walk into the pawn shop with treasure. Others bring in regret wrapped in paper. This guy, he shows up with a 19th century US currency, hoping to cash out big before his wedding day. He looks nervous because he's got skin in the game. It turns out that he dropped a whopping $7,500 on these notes at an estate sale, betting blindly on what he thought might be a gold mine. Now, he's here, praying Rick sees the same magic he did.
Today, sell some old currency. I'm kind of scared because I'm supposed to be getting married in a month, and I spent $7,500 on this. If I don't get my money back, I'm going to have one pissed off fiance.
The bills are stunning. At first glance, they don't even look real, like something pulled straight out of a museum, with elegant etchings and bare-chested goddesses dancing across the surface. Rick's impressed but cautious. He knows that old money doesn't always mean big money, and even the prettiest bills can be practically worthless if they've been passed around one too many times. But this is educational currency, a rare series from 1896 designed to expose rural Americans to high art. It's the kind of stuff collectors drool over, but only if the condition is pristine.
I just really hope I can make something out of it.
Do you mind telling me what you paid for them?
$7,500. I'm always getting into some type of trouble.
Rick's not about to guess. With a guy's wedding on the line and that kind of cash involved, he calls in an expert to size things up. If the notes turn out to be junk, this seller's not just walking out broke, he's heading home to one furious fiance.
Really, depending on the grade?
Depending on the condition of it.
Wow.
And when we start talking money like that, I have to have someone look at it.
When the expert arrives, he breaks down the history like a museum docent on a caffeine rush. Every bill tells a story of industry, electricity, and even George and Martha Washington. But the real story here isn't the artwork, it's the grading. A single fold, one faint crease, even a tiny stain could slash thousands off the value. And sure enough, as he inspects each note under the harsh light, the flaws start to surface.
These are some important banknotes. These are silver certificates from 1896. This is what we call the educational series.
One bill worth $700. The next is $2,500. The final one, a clean beauty worth the full $7,500 on its own. All told, the collection adds up to just over $10,000. It's a twist no one saw coming. What looked like a potential financial disaster was suddenly a win. Rick knows it, and now he wants in.
Here's what we got here. The $1 note, we got a centerfold right here.
Okay.
Slight, it's hard to see, but it's there.
But the negotiation is anything but smooth. The seller wants full value, no discount. Rick fires back with a little off it, arguing that the profit on a blind gamble should be plenty. The seller holds his ground. He took the risk. He needs more than that. Rick pushes once more, making the final offer. It's not generous, but it's fair. And it's more than the guy thought he'd see when he walked in, sweating bullets.
I'm thinking 10 grand.
I'm thinking 8 grand.
I just, spent $7,500 on these, and the risk I, took is just worth more to me than $500.
After a tense pause and a deep breath, the deal's done. Rick walks off with a rare slice of history. The seller walks out with his dignity and just enough money to face his bride-to-be with a straight face. In the end, it's not just a win, it's a miracle.
Okay. Holy.
Got the mother of all Super Bowl rings.
Let me try that thing on. I feel like a champion.
The Super Bowl ring that sparked a family showdown. When a man steps into the shop carrying a 2004 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, Rick knows right away this isn't going to be just another deal. The ring is massive, an absolute monster. It's heavy, flashy, and covered in diamonds. If real, it could be worth tens of thousands. The seller throws out a high price, confident it's the crown jewel of championship memorabilia. Rick listens, but something doesn't sit right.
It's the biggest, sweetest, coolest ring that you're probably ever gonna see. I'm looking to get anywhere from like 22 to 21,000 for the ring.
The guy says the ring once belonged to Ricky Bryant, a wide receiver from the team. He claims he's a broker and ended up with it after a failed deal. Rick has heard stories like this before, and while he admits the Patriots dominated that era and the craftsmanship looks incredible, he can't ignore one thing. The inside engraving looks wrong. It's sloppy, as if it was scratched in by hand. That's not what he expects from a legit Jostens-made ring, the company that manufactures most of the official Super Bowl bling.
I just really don't like this Jostens mark inside it.
What's a Jostens mark?
Jostens is the company that made a lot of the Super Bowl rings.
At this point, Rick's gut is screaming. He doesn't mess around with rings, he collects them. He even has his own stash in the back, so he grabs a verified Patriots ring from his collection to compare. That's when the concern deepens. The legit one has machine-perfect engraving, which is smooth and consistent. This one, not even close. Everything else about the ring looks amazing, but that one detail raises a huge red flag. And with money like this on the line, Rick's not taking chances.
And with my collection, I have other Super Bowl rings I can compare all the markings with. This is precision machine engraving inside of it. Every Super Bowl ring I've ever had that was made by Jostens is engraved like that.
He calls in his trusted sports memorabilia expert to get a second opinion. The guy examines every inch, weighing the ring, inspecting the diamonds, and checking the design. Turns out this was no ordinary Super Bowl ring. It was one of the heaviest ever made, packed with gold and 124 diamonds. But then comes the twist. The engraving wasn't wrong after all. That year, the rings were so big that Jostens had to laser engrave them by hand, one by one. What looked suspicious was actually legit. The ring is real.
When it comes to modern sports memorabilia, there's nothing that's more sought after and valuable than a Super Bowl ring, especially worn by a player.
Now that authenticity is confirmed, the game shifts to money. The seller wants over $20,000. Rick lowballs him, citing the sluggish economy, knowing he might be stuck with this ring for years. The seller pushes back. He knows what he has. Tension builds, offers to fly back and forth until Rick finally agrees to the low 20s.
So how much do you want for this thing?
22,000.
18.
Why so low?
Have you seen the economy?
Yeah, so I got the ring.
You know, I put out that kind of money, I might have to sit on this thing 2-3 years.
But that's not where the drama ends. Rick buys the ring, proudly adding it to his growing collection. The problem? His dad just finished lecturing everyone about how they need to stop hoarding inventory. Rick says the ring is for sale, but no one believes him. His father threatens to sell off every ring in the case if Rick doesn't sell this one. Corey watches the showdown and wisely decides to stay out of it.
Pops, what do you think? Another Super Bowl ring?
Just what the hell we need.
What?
This is a dope one.
Why another Super Bowl ring? Cause?
In the end, Rick gets the ring he wants, but not without catching serious heat from his old man. And if history's any indication, that $21,000 ring is going straight into the vault, right next to the other for sale treasures Rick never lets go.